What's up, you guys? Slim here, finally with the video. I know it's been a long time since I did a video for you guys, but I just finished for the semester yesterday, and I posted a status about that there'd be more videos, so that's what we're starting with here today. I wanted to just let you guys know a little personal stuff that's been going on. So I recently pretty much kind of found where I want to go, you know, with my education and, you know, my job, my career path, everything. And I decided I'm going to stay in school a little bit longer, and I'm going to do some courses and do some work and some community hours and stuff with kids with disabilities and for the underprivileged kids for teaching. So I'm doing school a little bit longer, but I weighed the pros and the cons of doing that work, and it definitely came out more positive. It'll give me the opportunity to not only teach but work in programs with underprivileged youth and those with disabilities, and also those who are limited, of course, by disabilities. So it really gives me a broad, pretty vast amount of things I can do upon graduation, so I'm really excited about that. So that's just a little personal stuff. Now onto the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, which I know everyone's here for. So I'm here to do a video, and yes, I'm going to do it on the damn hands because literally these cards are absolutely insane, and I know, as always, Slim's the last person to the party with these cards. I have mentioned the cards before, how awesome they are, but I never really made a video about them, about the pros and the cons of these cards. There's barely any drawback to these cards, but that's what today's video is going to be about. It's going to be about the hand. I'm going to call it handiwork. So I guess we'll call it a Slim chat for today, but this is a little intro to let you guys know that everything's, everything's going good for me, really good, and I'm excited to, go down this next path in my education and just learn a lot and inspire people, because people tell me I inspire you guys for Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know how, but somehow I do. But I think it's time that I, expand and try to inspire underprivileged youth and those with disabilities to, overcome their hardships. So I'm really looking forward to that. But anyways, enough of my babbling. We're getting into the video right now, and we'll talk about these little doodads, these little handyman. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. So what's going on, you guys? Here we're going to do a Slim Chat episode today here on the hands, Fire Hand and Ice Hand. We're going to call it handiwork. And all you're going to see are the hands, because that's what this video is all about. So Fire Hand and Ice Hand, you guys already know, came out in Dragons of Legend. And these cards have been creating nothing but a positive, amazing buzz since they, entered our game. And they've been really, really cool cards to see. A lot of people have been side decking them. They've done amazing work. And now people are even starting to main deck them. I've come across a lot of decks, not only on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, Dev Pro. I've come across people who are main decking these in multiple decks. I actually did see, I've played against a Mermail deck that mained these. I played against a Fire Fist deck that mained these. These cards are just absolutely insane, and as a lot of people know, recently at the UK Nationals, I believe it made top 16, there was a Hand Ruler deck profile. Top 16, yeah. Hand Ruler, Dragon Ruler deck, and he main decked all 6 hands, and they work great. They're fire and water. They're going to work with Tidal and Blasters, so really, really cool. But I want to talk about pretty much like why these cards are so just amazing. They're some of the best cards to ever come out, I think, in the game recently. A lot of people were, of course, relating them originally to Reborn Tengu, and how, the recursion ability was great. The ability to, just revive a monster and bring it back was awesome. And, of course, everyone wanted to, relate them to Reborn Tengu. The thing is that Tengu was just, Tengu can never be touched. Tengu was insane. Wherever it went, you'd always get another Tengu. But Tengu's at 2, so, it's really been limited in its power. But if this card ever came back to 3, dear God, like, it'd be insane. But these cards have been related to that. These cards are great. So basically, Fire Hand gets Ice Hand gets Fire Hand. And the beauty of this is they do everything a Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster should do. They act as not only a monster with a body, they act as like a spell and a trap. They act as all 3 in one card. And the reason why I say that is because Fire Hand, very simple. You set it, or you attack into something, it gets destroyed, it pops a monster on the board, and it brings out Ice Hand. And then if Ice Hand is destroyed, it pops a back row and brings back Fire Hand. It's just, a crazy loop that continues of, ongoing monsters. And I feel that any monster that can not only recur itself but also provide spot removal and give you a plus in the process is insane, because, like, think about it. Everyone saw, like, in feature matches how powerful Fire Hand is. Like, its #1 job these days is taking out this bad boy, knocking out Ophion. Literally, like, Ophion attacks, like, okay, cool, bye Ophion. If they're not mating, like, any cool stuff like Dark Illusion, I don't even know what, like, Dark Illusion is, like, the only card I can think of. Fire Hand just gets in there, you know, destroys it, brings out an Ice Hand, then they have to deal with an Ice Hand. If Ice Hand gets destroyed, pop a back row, bring another Fire Hand, and it's just awesome. These cards are just, like, insane. A lot of different players. I know Lolly, Base Lolly. I love your family. I love your mom. Lolly, shout out to Lolly. Side deck these cards because these cards are just insane. They win you the Evil Sworn matchup. They make it so much easier because Evil Sworn, let's face it, for Dragon Rulers or any deck that runs level 5 or higher monsters is going to be an uphill battle because Ophion just says no. So when you're able to side deck and or main deck cards that give you an advantage in that matchup, they're just fantastic. Other things I really like about them is that they go really well in stun decks. There was a deck, I believe it was called Bare Hands, of course, all the puns, all the jokes, hand jobs, whatever you want to call it. I said it. They were being ran in like a +1 Fire Fist deck build where you would run like Triple Bear, Gorilla, Wolf Bark, and then you would run the hands and a Thunder King. And those would be your monsters. And you basically could play a very stun-based deck. These are some of the best stun monsters right now for the game. Because not only do they get rid of problematic cards, they recur themselves, they do amazing things. And they're level 4. Like, that's one thing a lot of people might overlook when talking about these hands, is that they are level 4. They create some of the best XYZs in the game. They make 101, they make Excite on Night, they make Dweller, they make pretty much everything that you need to combat the main meta right now. And I think that's just what's fantastic about these cards, is that they do so many good things for the game, and I really, really like them. And I think the fact that people are starting to main deck them says just how effective they've been so far since their release. Everyone knows that out of Dragons of Legend, the main cards were Soul Charge, Curry Bandit, and these guys. And Wiretap. I'm going to throw Wiretap in there too, because Wiretap's seeing a lot of play. But these cards were just, you know, or over the top outside of Soul Charge. You know, Soul Charge goes without say, was the most ridiculous card released in the set. Curry Bandit, a quick second. But when you know, put those aside, these were the cards you wanted to get from the set. These were the cards that you could main deck them, you could side deck them, and you could just do so many awesome things with them. The fact, there was I believe it was a I want to say either top 16 or top 8 Fire King deck that main decked these, and this was the new engine they ran with the Barongs and the Yakshas and the Big Chickens. That was really cool. The fact that, you know, they lost, you know, double Wolfbarg, they lost Rekindling. They could run Soul Charge, of course, but they lost a lot of their engines. Then being able to replace it with stun monsters like this is just awesome. So, that shows right there how great these cards are. I guess some of the drawbacks of these cards, there's going to be some drawbacks to these cards. So, I would say the possible drawback, there's very few, is that they are kind of on the weak side. 1600 is not the best. Bear is 1600, yes, but usually you tanky into a bear, so it becomes 17 and it's spot removal in itself. So I guess in a sense this is like a bear, it's just not as strong. But I think that really, like, that could be the only limitation, I guess, that maybe they're kind of weak. You know, 1400 is not the best, but it does have 1600 defense, and usually you do bring Ice Hand out in defense unless you're, like, trying to just smack through a bunch of stuff. But outside of that, I can't really think of any real drawback. I guess if you somehow opened all 6 of them, you know, it could happen maybe once in 100 games or something like that. It might happen. You could open too many and your hand would become cloggy. But, I mean, outside of that, you know, you take that risk. Like, back when Reborn Tengu came out, like, there were a lot of times you could just open multiple Tengus. Billy opened, what was it, 3 Tengus in the finals and never summoned one and still won. So it proves that even if you draw like clump hands, kind of dead hands, you can still play out of them. You never scoop. You just try to play until, you know, all your life points are gone. So I guess that would be the drawback to these cards. I guess another drawback, people know about them now, so they're going to try and, you know, play against them. I mean, I guess if you're main decking Fissure or Macro or whatever, I guess that would work. But, you know, those are just floodgates, so it's not really that relevant right now, especially for Game 1. And I guess, like, I'll wrap this up by saying, like, the beauty of these cards is that, you know, if you main deck them, they give you an amazing Game 1 against Rogue. Rogue decks just, you know, they come out of nowhere and you're not really sure how to react to them. These cards are the ultimate answers to Rogue. Pretty much every player that was ever been profiled that was side decking these talked about it, that this was their answer for Rogue decks. I think that's just awesome that they provide us with cards like this that actually do really good stuff. Of course, they gave us crazy cards like Soul Charge and Curry Bandit, but, you know, at least they got something right. At least there was, you know, some positive stuff that came out of this. So I'm a big fan of the hands. I think they're awesome. They're extremely handy, and they do just amazing things for the game. But I'm going to leave this open in the discussions for you guys. What do you guys think about these cards? What decks would you main deck these in? That's what I'd like to know first. What decks would you main deck these in? I would say for myself, I would try to main deck these in Fire Fist, depending on what build you're running. I know people are very popular, like they're running the 3.5 axis build, and then there's the +1, which hasn't really seen any play, but when it did top, it did run these, so this is definitely something I would put into the deck. Another thing I would put in this in is in the Fire Kings. I think it works really well in Fire Kings. As far as other decks go, I'm not really sure. You could make a really cool anti-meta deck out of this. Like, you could use like these and some Fossil Dynas, some Banishers, and just some really cool nifty stuff to, you know, if you're an anti-meta player. You know, you got one Thunder King. I mean, I wouldn't play Doom Cow, but you've got Thunder King, and you got these, and you got Dynas, and some Banishers, and you got a bunch of cool Kaikus, a bunch of cool anti-meta cards put together could make one cool anti-meta deck profile. So, those are just my thoughts, but let me know what decks you would main deck these in. I'm pretty sure I know what decks you guys would side deck these in, but you can include that too if you want. Maybe there's a deck I missed. Pretty sure the majority of decks are either main decking these or side decking these, if their deck calls for them, if their deck can support them. But, I mean, outside of that, I'm just a big fan of them. I think they're awesome, and I just want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. I'm glad to be back making videos for you guys. I'll definitely have some deck profiles coming. I have a couple of deck profiles that might be boring, but they're my take on decks, so hopefully it won't be the worst. I'm going to start doing deck profiles again. I haven't done them in a long time, so hope you guys will enjoy them. But yeah, please, you know, give me a hands up for these. Give me a high five, because these guys are awesome. I know I have really bad puns in this video, but, you know, it's fine. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are below about the Fire and Ice hands and how you feel they will continue to impact the rest of this format and the formats to come. I don't see them getting hit at all. I think they're fine. They're too new to get hit, so it'll be interesting to see what happens after Nationals when the list changes and everything. So, and I want to talk about the impact that they'll have at Nationals, so definitely comment below. If you have any cool decks, also submit them below, video response, any of that cool stuff, and I'll definitely look into them. So yeah, that's all I got to say. Thumbs it up, yay hands, and thank you for watching.